The Fiat Palio is a supermini car produced by the Italian manufacturer Fiat since 1996. It is a world car, developed by Fiat Automobili and aimed at developing countries. It has been produced in various countries worldwide, and its platform was also used in the Siena sedan, the Palio Weekend station wagon, the Palio Adventure crossover and the Strada light pickup truck. Origins of the Palio badge. The Palio badge originated on the Mark II Fiat 127, of 1977, where it was a trim designation rather than an actual model. The 127 Palio featured alloy wheels, a more luxurious interior, and a metallic paint finish as found on the 127 Sport. The Palio designation was also used on other Fiat models throughout the 1980s and 1990s in various markets. First generation. 1996 Euro 2000 launched in 1996 in Brazil, as part of Fiat's Project 178, the Palio was Fiat's first attempt to build a world car, the same basic design being produced in numerous nations around the globe. 4 principal models were produced: hatchback, sedan, pickup, and station wagon, with different versions being built for different markets. The power plants, both diesel and petrol, also varied from region to region depending on local production capability, legislation, and market requirements. The basic chassis was a development of the Fiat Punto, but little remained unchanged. The entire structure was significantly stronger to be suitable on the rougher roads found in some of the markets for which it was intended, as was the suspension. The body was a completely new design by the IDEA Institute of Turin, which also designed the new interior. Production began in 1996 in Brazil and was followed later that year by a plant in Argentina. In 1997, production started in Venezuela, Poland for the European market, and Morocco, whilst Turkey started building the same car in 1998. In India, assembly was at Pune and the new Fiat Tata Motors factory, and in South Africa by Nissan together the pickup version called Fiat Strada. Production in India and South Africa began in 1999, in Egypt in 2001, and in China in 2002. The Palio Weekend station wagon was launched in 1996 in Brazil and later in Europe. The station wagon is the version most commonly sold in Europe. 2001 Euro 2003 . In 2001, the model had its first facelift. The new design was made by the Italian automobile designer Giorgetto Giugiaro. This facelift included new front and rear fascia and a brand new interior. Also, new engines come for the Palio, the Fire 16-valve 1.0L and 1.2L and the Sporting, a 1.6L 16-valve engine with 120 horsepower made in Turkey. The 2001 Palio was the first Fiat to be made in China, by Nanjing Automobile. In some markets, this generation included a speed gear semi-automatic option. The Palio 2001 facelift is the ultimate version sold in Italy. In 2001, Fiat introduced for the South American market the crossover version, called Palio Adventure and based on the Palio Weekend. In Europe, the Palio Weekend was succeeded in 2003 by the Fiat Idea MPV. Nanjing Fiat Palio. In November 2001, the Chinese Fiat Palio debuted, with either the 60 picoseconds 1.2L or the 85 picoseconds 1.5L. The Siena sedan was added in November 2002, followed by the Palio Weekend in June 2003. The Siena and Palio Weekend were not available with a smaller engine. Safety rating: A. Fiat Albea, the sedan version of the Palio, was tested in Russia according to the Euro NCAP latest standard. The Albea scored 8.5 points in the frontal test, equivalent to 3 stars. The tested vehicle was equipped with standard driver airbag and regular seat belts. The Fiat Palio, the Chinese version of the Albea, was tested in China by China NCAP in 3 different tests: 100% front crash test with a wall, a 40% offset test, and a side crash test. The Palio scored 8.06 points in the 100% frontal crash test, equivalent to 3 stars. 12.02 PTS in the 40% offset crash test, equivalent to 4 stars, and 10.96 PTS in the side crash test, equivalent to 3 stars. With an average result of 31 points and 3 stars. The tested vehicle was equipped with standard driver and passenger airbags and regular seat belts. 2004 Euro 2006 equals. The third revision was released in 2004, designed again by Giorgetto Giugiaro. It is basically a facelift from the previous models. The 2004 Palio was the first Brazilian model in the B segment available with 4 airbags, parking assistance, and light and rain sensor. In Europe, the new model featured a redesigned front fascia and interior with rear fascia similar to Palio 2001 version. It has also a sport version called the Palio 1.8, which is a new version of the General Motors 1.8 LX18XE powertrain engine rated at 115 horsepower and 112 horsepower, lowered suspension, new 14-inch alloy wheels, new seats, and other sporting features. The third generation of the Palio had huge sales numbers, even getting higher sales in some months than the VW Gol, the Brazilian best-selling car for over 24 years. It is currently sold as the Palio Fire Economy as a cheaper alternative to its posterior facelift, with alterations derived from the Uno Mille Fire Economy model. The top model is still Weekend Adventure version. It is equipped with a 1.8L powertrain flex-fuel engine with 112 horsepower and 114 horsepower at 5,500 RPMs, all-terrain Pirelli Satinette tires, and a higher reinforced suspension kit but still with 4x2 drive. Fiat India is manufacturing the 2004 Palio, with 2001 version interiors, at the Ranjangan plant along with the Gran Punto and Linui. After entering into a partnership with Tata Motors, the Palio has been relaunched as the Palio style, with the 1.1L Fire, 1.6L Torque, and 1.3L multi-jet engines. Sales have been low at hardly 200 units per month. 2007 Euro present equals. The last Palio facelift was launched in 2007, in Natal, Brazil. The design of the body was inspired by the new version of the Gran Punto, which was launched in Brazil in the first quarter of 2008. This fourth facelift included new front, rear, and side designs, but it kept the original chassis from the 1996 model, being marketed as the new Palio. It also has a minor change in the instrument panel with differences between the two variants sold. The trims for this new Palio are ELX with the 1.0 or the 1.4L Fire engines, both flex, and a sporty version 1.8 with the current revision of the 1.8L 8-valve engine from GM, also flexible. The new torque engines WWERE added to the Palio after the launch of the Gran Punto. The Palio Adventure introduced the new limited slip differential and new suspension for off-road with front-wheel drive. Second generation, an all-new generation of Palio was revealed in October 2011, at the annual Fiat dealers meeting in Mykonos, Greece. The official launch, however, took place on November 4, 2011, in Brazil. It is the first total remodeling since launch in 1996. The project, codenamed 326, was anticipated by the success of the new Fiat Uno in Brazil. One of the new versions will be the Sporting, a trim level known for the sporty versions of the Siena, Uno, Idea, Bravo, and Strada. Electric versions, Fiat is joining utility companies CIMIC and Attribution to develop new electric vehicles for Brazil, with an initial batch of Fiat Palio cars scheduled to start testing later 2007. Motorsport, several competition and homologated versions of the Palio have been produced, such as the A6 class rally car, multiple Brazilian and South American champion of the A6 class with Brazilian Luis Tedesco as driver, and the Turkish Fiat Rally team created Palio Super 1600 Abarth rally car, with a 215 horsepower 1.6L 16-valve engine and a 6-speed sequential transmission. Turkey also boasts an N2 Palio. Safety. The Fiat Palio has been rated as highly unsafe by Latin NCAP, scoring only 1 star for adult occupants and 2 stars for children. Its airbag-equipped version scored 3 stars, although it is a vast minority in the sales mix. This will change with the Brazilian law requiring dual front airbags from 2014 on. Unfortunately, this is the safety standard of low-cost Brazilian cars. References. External links, official Fiat Palio website.